Well, good evening. This is episode 3, 4.
I'll be honest, I don't know.
You know, you're just standing there going. You're like one of those characters from the Muppet Show. At the start, you go, what is it, Beaker or one of them just spikes it? No, it's at the start of Muppets 3D, where you go, no, it's not. It's Muppets Christmas Carol, where you've got the characters like the bookends at the thing with the slide falls off. You just like that. Sorry, anyway, I digress. Episode 3, episode 4. We need to do this. We need to catalogue. Anyway, right? Okay, so there we go. Favourite rides in Disney's California Adventure or DCA or whatever you want to call it at the moment. California Adventure, one of my favourite places in the world. So, rides.
And we're going to do rides, not attractions, I think, because we over here, us English, we tend to see rides and attractions as two different things. So I've based mine on rides as opposed to an attraction.
So straight top 5 rides.
And then I think we'll do sort of attractions as another podcast from both parks.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Okay,
Right.
who's going? You can go
I'll
first.
start. Number 5.
Yeah.
I've got 2 at number 5.
Oh, that's cheating.
Of course it's cheating, but I have 2 at number 5. And
Okay.
you're not going to like it.
Okay.
At number 5, it's Toy Story Mania.
At number 5.
At number 5, Toy
Well,
Story
that's
Mania.
outrageous.
Toy Story Mania is
Can't be number
based
5.
on the ride architecture that was put into, I think it's not Pirates of the Burning Sea, but Pirates of the Something that was at the top of Disney Quest many moons ago. That myself and 2 of my nieces, there'll be Jenna and Hannah, I think Holly was there as well. We broke the record. I think we got 5,900 points, which nobody had ever got before. And we spent every afternoon going on Pirates of Something. We need to Google it and find out for sure. But
It's a game where you pull.
It's basically the same thing. It's bang, 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 shooty. It's good, but really, it's a bit of a fairground ride. It's a bit cheesy. It's a bit cheap. It takes forever to get on it. Yeah. It's all right,
well,
but I did say it went hand in hand with something else.
I'm very shocked at this.
And the thing it's going hand in hand with, it isn't even in the park anymore. Malibu! What a ride that was! You got to see all of Anaheim. You got shots at the top with your screen shield in place. You could see the hotels. You could see Knott's. You could give you a fantastic view, which you don't get from anywhere else in Disney. So my number 5, hand in hand, Malibu. Toy Story Midway Mania.
I'd say though that Malibu is more of a fairground ride. It's just a...
Oh, it was a fairground ride. That's why it's at number 5.
You cheated though, having 2 in.
Of course I cheated.
My number 5 is Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. And it has to be said, if you don't know what it is, you go on a little sort of mini Mater and you go around, you swing round and you do it in time to
rock,
music. Yeah.
Ready to rock.
And it swings round and it swings back another way. And you're sort of in the carriage or driving.
Jamboree.
Now, it has been said by, I don't know what you'd use, attendant, we'd say, but the person in charge of the ride, that he's never seen anyone enjoy that ride as much as me.
You do tend to scream a fair bit on it.
And laugh. I love that ride because I laugh and laugh, and our daughter Isabel finds it hilarious because she always comes on with me. You know, we go on the other one, we wave. We started, I think we went on together and then we split up. But no, I just find it the height of Disney magic enjoyment. It's not a thrill ride. I just find it funny. It makes me laugh. It makes me happy, and that's what it's all about.
Well, there we go. So number 4 for me, it's Grizzly Peak when it works. Which, in fairness, is about every 3rd year that we get there. Grizzly Peak was one of the original rides in California Adventure, and the first year we went, which was the year it opened, it just didn't work. It didn't work repeatedly, and you get in the line, it worked for a bit, and then you get out of the line, then you get in the line, get out of the line. I think I spent more time in the line for Grizzly Peak than I did at school, which is quite a bit, but when it runs, it's one of the lots of theme park rides you experience on an individual basis. So it's just you doing your thing, you're in your own world, you're screaming, you're shouting, all the rest of it. The ring rides, I think, always bring people together. You make friends that you never knew you'd have because you get it, because you laugh at the other people getting soaked, and it's in a way it's even funnier if you get soaked and everyone laughs at you, and there's such bonhomie.
Well, you end up on somebody's knee normally, don't you?
No, you end up normally on my knee, which is you leap from one side to the other and still get soaked. But yeah, those rides in general are brilliant. Not much in the way of theming. there's a bit of a woodyard thing going on, and there's obviously you've got the Grizzly Peak and the Big Bear and things. But yeah, I just love those rides. So Grizzly Peak for me, number 4.
Okay, I had for number 4 the same. No peeking.
I want to see what you got number 1.
I had the same for number 4. I was letting you have your moment because I'm always accused of interrupting. But yeah, I had it at number 4 as well. I really like it because you feel like you are in a different part of California and you're experiencing that. But I think you're right. One of the problems with it is it often breaks down. Which
No,
is really
it doesn't
annoying.
often break down. It sometimes works.
And it's your timing as well, on the time of the day when the queue's not too big and you're going to get wet and soaked. You do get pretty soaked on that ride. But it is a fun ride. I like the theming of it. And there's nothing else like that ride over in the 2 parks, to be fair, in California anyway. So I really like it as well. So
Okay.
I'll let you...
Do you want to
Can I
do
go
you want to
first
double
then?
up? You go on to number 3?
Yeah. Now, mine would be Soaring at number 3.
Heresy.
I would have had it as higher up if it was the original Soaring. I nearly didn't put it in at all. It nearly didn't make my top 5 with the new Soaring because we are big fans of the original Soaring. By fans, we have our own action sequence that we do in time with the original ride. Yeah, we have our own.
Catch the golf ball.
Our daughter knows it and joins in.
Yep.
We know the music off by heart. It's in here. We adore, can't say enough, the original ride. And we used to go on it as often as we could.
Yes.
The new one, we go on once when we've been there. We might go on twice, only if we're passing and there's no queue. It's not a desire to go on it a
It's
second
sort
time.
of a bit.
So it's come down my
It's
list.
all right.
It nearly didn't make it. It's still in there because it is Soaring, and the effect of going in seats, going up, being immersed in the experience is something to behold. But I'm hoping they might try and improve the music a little bit on the new Soaring, so it sort of is in sync more. There are some fun elements of it with the animals and things, but I do prefer the original. But it's still up there at number 3 for me.
So number 3 for me is Radiator Springs Racers, or Test Track as we know it, because it's the same ride. It's the same ride. It's good fun. It is. I think of any Disney ride, I think they've done more theming on that than anything else. It is the best theme ride they've possibly done. It's absolute brilliant. You are in Radiator Springs. It's magic. And you've got the waterfall, and you've got the whole thing, and you've got the inside bit, and Mater knocking the things over, and the great big combine harvester. It's fantastic, but it's if they ratcheted it up and doubled the speed, doubled the fun, yeah, fine. But fundamentally, you're going out on a track, and it doesn't really do it for me because it's not got the real power, it's not got the real speed, and it really should do with it. So hopefully they'll upgrade that in the years to come and it can go higher up the list. So seeing as you did 2, I'm doing 2, so I'm moving straight to number 2. And for 2, for me, it's Soaring.
Hang on, I haven't done mine though. I haven't done my number.
No, you did 4 and 3.
No, I did. I did.
Yeah, you did. You did 4 and 3.
No, let's just check. No, I didn't. I did 5. We both done our 5.
Yeah.
We both done our 4.
And then you did 4, then your 3rd.
No, I've done my 3rd.
And I did my 3rd, so I'm now moving
Oh, did
to
you
2.
go to number 2?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah,
checking.
okay.
Just
Yeah.
checking. You're number 2.
It's Soaring for the simple reason that the theme park in which it resides is called Disney's California Adventure Park. Soaring over California was a ride which showed you a huge a display, a huge extent of the different beauties that are available in California.
Yeah, but it isn't that anymore, so it's really a 2.
Hang on, I'm talking about what it was.
Ah, but
Soaring over California was, as Helen said, one of our absolute favourites. It's absolutely stunning. Ride architecture, the way they carry it through, the 4D thing, 'cause
yeah.
you've got the sound, you've got the smell, you've got the sight, you've got the movement, you've got everything. Soaring over California, one of my absolute favourite things
even
in
the
the whole world.
entrance into the ride with the music and the
And I could spend all day reading
Oh, we could.
reading the signs,
Believe it,
reading
we
the
could.
information on the signs. I love flight. We went to the Smithsonian last year and saw an SR-71 and saw the Wright brothers flyer.
Yeah.
And we're massive fans of flight. Soaring rocked. The new one,
You've told me it at 2 though.
put it in Epcot. Because Epcot has
Yeah.
the world,
I-
so have soaring over the world.
Yeah.
In fact, they might already have done that. I've not thought about it.
They have.
The video clips might actually be all the individual things in Epcot. Never occurred to me. But in California Adventure, have soaring over California.
Well, we need
Simple.
to start a campaign, I think. It could come from this.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. At least some of the time. Or have
Yeah.
two sides. One that's the original, one that's the other.
Yeah, in
Because-
HD. It's
We'll
Ah.
love it. So that was your number 2.
so. I mean, you can have your number 2 now.
Well,
then you get
mine's-
to go to number 1. You get
Toy
you
Story Mania, number 2.
Yeah.
Your number 5. I
It's
love
background ride.
Toy Story Mania. Absolutely love it. I love that you've got, you know, you're doing something on the ride. I like the fact that it's taken a step further from the guns that you have in Disneyland on, remind what it's called, Space Ranger Spin.
Space Ranger, Buzz Lightyear.
So it's
Buzz
streets
Lightyear.
ahead of that. You're immersed within a video game. You're having a go. You're pulling your thing. You're with a family member. You're having a laugh. We're not. Isabel and I aren't as good at it as yourself. So for us, it's quite a laugh, really. Just doing our best, having a go, wearing 3D glasses. I really enjoy it. I get a lot out of that ride. Very much do. I always find the queue is big, so we normally head there first.
And it's always hot.
And
But
try and get in. And
apparently
it's always hot as well for some reason.
This season, though, apparently it's now undercover. They've brought air conditioning
Oh,
into it,
that'd
so
be
it's,
good.
it's a lot cooler.
So no, you basically talk so much about it. But I like the fact that you're in different parts. The characters are in there. You're in part of Andy's room. You're in another part of the Toy Story world. And I love the Mr. Potato Head that interacts with you on the way in. Certainly our daughter loves that completely. It brings the magic to life. So that's my number 2. There's a sip of tea needed.
So you can, well, should I go for number 1 or should you?
No, I
Because
will.
I know we've got 2 completely different things.
Well, yeah, because you stole my thunder, so I kept very quiet earlier. But for me, my number 1
Test
is
track.
Radiator Springs Racers. I love it. Test track, okay for me. Radiator Spring Racers, love it. I could go on it so many times. I like the fact that you have a story with it, so you're immersed on the way up. You're seeing the sights from Radiator Springs, you're getting involved, you're getting excited before you get there, then you get in your car, and then off you go, and then you get the bit where your car changes, it's remodels, and it's a little bit like how I described Splash Mountain, in that it's a ride that keeps on giving. So you've got one bit where you're just tootling in, then the car changes, then you're going on a little journey in your car and you meet Mater in the dark and you nearly get hit by a train, a bit like Tony's Wild Ride kind of effect, but brought up to date. And there's all this going on before you get to the race bit. And I like that about it. I think it gives surprises after surprises after surprises. And then you have your race, which is against another car on the other side, so you don't know who's going to win every time, there's no way of knowing, so it's a different ride every time. And I just love it, and I love when you're out, you feel like you're out there on the open road, because the way they've made the ride, they spent a lot of money on it, and it's really paid off. You could be out there, you could be in that film, you could be out on that highway. So I love it, and for me that's my number 1.
So it moves on to my number 1.
I know what your number 1 is without you telling me.
In mine, if I could define and design my entire perfect roller coaster, perfect ride I should say, it would be without question a room full of singing birds that bounces up and down. That'd just be absolute heaven. Hey, me and Mondo, stop and plug in.
Yeah.
You sound like a pair of old hens,
Yeah, but you're
and
not in
then
that
shoot
park.
and then
Yeah.
shoot down 15 stories. Yeah, it's the Hollywood Tower of Terror, obviously. Unfortunately or unfortunately, it's been rethemed since we were last there, so we haven't been on Age of
Guardians
Avengers,
of the
Guardians
Galaxy
of
or
the
whatever,
Galaxy,
yeah.
Ultron, or whatever it's called. Not looking forward to it because I suppose we're traditionalists. And a lot of it's the age-old thing, isn't it? As Disney said, Disneyland will never be finished as long as there's imagination left in the world, or words to that effect. And so the idea of retheming a ride that's loved, I understand why they did it, which is to make money, which is why Disneyland exists. He might have built it for his daughters, but he also built it to make money. He wasn't a silly man.
No.
Which is cool, because that's how these things happen. If it wasn't for the money, it wouldn't exist. So, Tower of Terror, it's just brilliant. And the idea, my favourite thing is always to go in, sit down, look around at all the people on the ride, work out the people who haven't been on it before, and then just laugh at them all the way, because it's absolutely
We've took
horrifying.
cuddly toys on with our daughter, let them fly in the air and everything.
I've taken Eo. Eo's, hello, this is Eo. Eo's been on the Tower of Terror. Took a friend of ours.
He's from Disneyland.
He's from Disneyland. Yeah, we took a friend of ours on the one in Florida a few years ago, 10 years ago, and he's only just started speaking to me since because he
Yeah, they didn't like
absolutely terrified him. And what I loved was when we saw them building the one in California Adventure. And we went the successive years, so we saw the foundations, then we saw the tower built, and then we saw them theming it, and then the next year it was open, and we knew what was going on because we'd been to Florida, we knew what was going to happen. So we got on the ride and went up, and the doors opened, and we thought, right, in a minute the ride's going out, and we're going to go off, and I even had my t-shirt on that said, I survived from Florida. And then the door shut, and we shot up 15 stories, and we thought the ride had broke, or there was something wrong, because it wasn't what should have happened. We were petrified. Or we dropped it, I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, we were scared. It made it a scarier ride.
But it doesn't work like the Florida one, but it's still fantastic. But simply, just as a thrill ride, fantastic. As a themed ride, fantastic. Guardians of the Galaxy version, well, we'll find out at Christmas.
Yeah, it's not my kind of ride. I would go on the new one. I always go on every ride once. That's my thing. And then I'll decide do I want to go in again. And I actually went on Tower of Terror more than once for different reasons. But it's not my thing. The way it makes your stomach feel and the whole jerky thing, it's not for me. Can I just say before we wrap this up, I'm really surprised that you didn't have California Screaming in your top 5 because we didn't look at this beforehand.
It's a reasonable roller coaster with a loop on it. It's a good ride, but there's 50 better in England.
Yeah.
No.
And my other
there's 10 better.
No, it was on the
Fair enough.
And the other thing I was going to say is I think we both, but it isn't a ride, we call it an attraction. Muppets, if it was still there, would have been there for both of us.
Oh yeah, we can quote Muppets all the way through. Just an absolutely fabulous thing. So
that's for another time.
And there we go.
Okay, so
in the words of the Queen Mother, tinkety tonk cold fruit and down with the Nazis. We'll see you again soon.
See you again soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.